Hi guys, I'm Infamous, and today we're going to be taking a look at Soldier 11's W engines, cinemas, teams, and more. Now I'll have chapters so you guys can skip to a part you like, but I'd recommend watching the whole way through so you can make sure you're getting the best out of your Soldier 11. Now with that out of the way, let's get right into the video. Soldier 11 is a fire assault character, and the best part about her is the fact that she happens to be one of our few standard banner characters. What that means is her signature weapon is actually free. If you guys go into the signal shop, you guys can see that the brimstone, her signature, is actually free here. If you guys end up saving, you guys are going to get her signature, which gives a lot of attack bonus, both in her passive and her main stat. Now, the good thing about this is, even if you don't happen to use Soldier 11 in the future, you guys can still use the brimstone on basically any DPS because everybody scales off of attack percent. But let's say you guys don't want to buy this, you guys are using your signal currency on pools, right? If that's the case, we actually have some really nice free-to-play options. Now, I would say her best secondary weapon would actually be the Glided Blossom. Now, this gives you basically the same exact passive. It's just going to be a little worse, especially because it's a 4-star, so your main stat is also decreased. Now, if you guys don't happen to have this weapon, because this weapon was given out on the release of the game, essentially, I would recommend using Starlight Engine, and then after that, I would also recommend the Marcado Desire. I think Starlight Engine is better. This is also an event weapon, so you guys might not even have this, but I would say in order, priority is get the Brimstone. It's her best, obviously, because it's her signature. Then it would go Glided Blossom, and then after that, Starlight Engine. That's my top 3 recommendations for this character. When it comes to Soldier 11's builds, it is very simple. You guys want to run a 4-piece fire piece, and you guys would also like to run a 2-piece crit damage piece, or crit rate depending on what your ratio is. Now, I'm personally running crit damage because I'm running a crit rate for the 4th disc. You guys, if you have really good substats, could get away with running a crit damage piece, but overall, I recommend going for a crit rate because I prioritize consistency in critting over hitting a higher damage number when I crit. Again, that's just me, personal preference, but at the end of the day, this is what I personally recommend. When it comes to substats, obviously go for crit damage, crit rate, and attack percent. Now when it comes to disc 4, crit rate or crit damage, again, same substats. Disc 5, I would recommend either fire damage bonus or attack. Her signature obviously gives a lot of attack, so you're going to lose a lot of value if you don't run the damage bonus, but regardless, go with whatever you have better substats in. And then disc 6 is very simple, go for another attack percent. Again, you want to have good crit damage subs and crit rate subs. As long as you guys can run that, you guys should have a ratio that looks like this. The reason why we're going to be running the 4-piece is because when you guys hit burn, you guys will have 28% crit rate. So technically what we're looking at here isn't actually 67, it is borderline 90% crit rate. So again, that's what I would personally recommend. Consistency is key with this character. So 4-piece fire, 2-piece crit damage. When it comes to Soldier 11 cinemas, I will say out of the full cast of standard banner units, she has some of the best cinemas in the game easily. Basically, every cinema in her kit will give her value, and well, if you guys plan on heavily investing into Soldier 11, I believe you guys will be very happy with what you guys see here. Her first cinema is giving her energy whenever she doesn't have uptime on her skill. Her skill is basically what allows her to do damage, so if you guys have full uptime on it, obviously you're always going to be able to do that good amount of damage. This is really useful. Disc 2 just straight up gives you extra damage when you're doing basic attacks, dash attacks, and dodge counters. Now, basically everything in her kit revolves around her basic attacks. Obviously, it'd be nice to have her whole kit get value, but honestly, basic attacking for her is about 80 to 90% of her attack damage anyway. When it comes to 4, since like I said before, basic attacking is where she gets the most value, this just makes it a lot easier to use her. A good quality of life. The fact that you get anti-interrupt and you guys can deadass just get super armor when hitting your 4th hit, this is ridiculously good. She's going to be very hard to counter. It's nice. A very good quality of life cinema. And then her last one is giving you fire res ignore. This is ridiculously good. You guys can actually use her viably without going up against a fire weakness character because of this. And if you guys are obviously going against a character with fire weakness, this is going to give you even more value. But point is, all of these cinemas give you insane value, especially considering she's a standard banner unit. Again, very good if you guys have many cinemas in her already. When it comes to Soldier 11's best teams, I will flat out say we are going to run Astray out 100% of the time. She is such a good character universally. I genuinely believe her to be the best character in the game. She gives value to basically everybody. I think even Miyabi is worse than her simply because of how much Astray out can bring new DPSs up as well as the old ones. So easily, I would say Astray out is her main priority. Now, second character, this is an easy substitute depending on what you guys want. But for me personally, I run Bernice simply because she's an off-field support. So she can apply burn more often to get the 4-piece effect for Soldier 11. And because of the fact that she's also fire, you're able to get the attribute bonus for Soldier 11. Now, if we didn't want to run Bernice, you guys could replace her for either Trigger, an off-field stun unit, or a free-to-play option with Pultra, another off-field stun unit. Point is, we really want to have Soldier 11 have more uptime and keep her on field more often, simply because her basic attacks are what give her their most damage anyway. If you guys really want, and you guys don't want to run, you know, Astriel, for example, you guys could also try to run a mono pyro team, meaning you guys can run Colada, Lucy, and Soldier 11. Unfortunately, I don't have Colada, so I can't tell you whether or not she's better than Bernice or anything, but from my personal experience, this team is really good, so this is my personal recommendation. Astriel, Bernice for the 4-piece uptime as well as the off-field support, and then Soldier 11. When it comes to Soldier 11's combat, I believe it to be very simple, even more simple than the videos I've been doing recently, which they also have very simple kits. If we take a look at her basic attacks, this is before her infusion, this is with 0 energy. She has nothing. We're doing normal attacks essentially. A little bit of burn here and there, but mainly just normal physical type moves. Now, as you guys can see, we go from doing 7,000 damage, 800 damage, to 20,000, 10,000 bare minimum when inflicting burn. Or not burn, but inflicting her with our infused sword. Now, if we use her skill right here, as you guys can see, it does a solid amount of damage as well as infuses our sword with the flame. Now, this is easily her best way of getting uptime to do solid amounts of damage, but as you guys can see, it's already gone right there. We have to build her bar consistently, and this is why I was recommending to run Bernice. At the very least, we need to get her crit value up because her signature unfortunately doesn't give her any whatsoever. So we can inflict burn right here. We can make up for a little bit of the damage loss of not having infusion by critting. See? 20k, 8k, 36,000, so on. But as you guys can see, she does almost pitiful damage when she doesn't have her infusion up. If you guys are running her with her first cinema, obviously she's gonna have more energy, so it's gonna make up for that loss for the majority of it. But again, you guys can see that most of her damage is coming from her skill infusion. Now, another big important thing that I have to mention about Soldier 11 is because of the fact that most of her damage comes from basic attacks, we really want to make use of her invulnerability frames. As you guys can see right there, the big goon just jumped on me and I didn't take any damage simply because her invulnerability frame window is huge. As long as you're doing her skill, you have a huge animation. That whole animation actually gives you invulnerability frames. Again, as you guys can see right there, just did it again, no problem whatsoever. We're gonna stun him right here as well, so I can also show you another part of her kit. As you guys can see, I'm doing basic attacks, literally nothing, but if I hit her with the ultimate, my sword is now infused again. So even if you have no energy, you guys could also make use of her ultimate. Her ultimate does solid amount of damage. Obviously, she's a DPS, so we expect that from them. But the infusion is a huge increase in damage. Her invulnerability frames are fairly long, but honestly, that's really all her kit is. It's literally that simple. All of her damage comes from her basic attacks. If you guys aren't using her basic attacks, you guys are not using her properly. Just to put it simply, she's very simple to learn. You literally just spam left click. There is no combos. Now, because of the fact that Soldier 11 is so simple to use, there really is no meter unless you guys count her skill. There really is no combos unless you guys just count her basic attack stream. There really is nothing complicated about her. She is probably the simplest agent in the game. As long as your sword is infused, you do big boy damage. To get your ultimate up and infuse your sword, you just pop the ability using Q. If you guys have your skill back up, again, you guys just use your energy to then inflict your sword, so on and so forth. You literally, all you do is spam the left click button and infuse your sword with fire, so you do damage. That's as simple as it is, so I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna show you guys some gameplay on how she can be used. I have some videos out on my channel if you guys want to see her in some other content as well, but right now we're gonna do her in Shu defense so you guys can see a bit of that. Now, yeah, with all that being said, let's get right into the fight.
希望の風に私は歌う。あら、私と踊ってる。火力準備。もっと笑ってよ。邪魔しないで。あなたの魂に届け。やった。チャンス。
I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is a very simple video, and I say that all the time, but like, nah, this is definitely the easiest video I've ever made in my life. Soldier 11 is just that fucking easy, that simple. Yet she's super strong, considering she's a standard banner unit. I like her a lot. I hope you guys do too. She's really not that complex. So yeah, if you guys see people trying to make it out to be, it really isn't that deep. You just spam left click. At the end of the day, thank you guys for watching. We're almost at 400 subs. As of right now, I'm 3 subs away from hitting 400. Again, thank you for the support. It really means a lot to me. And regardless, I guess I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.